chapter 11 and 12 in the Case for Christ. 11 goes over the significance of the medical ways that Jesus died, and the proof of basically why he died before he was in the tomb. And basically it's debunked that literally everything that people thought could be the way, that Jesus was never really resurrected, and that he was just not dead when he was in the tomb and somehow made it out on the third day. That was all debunked in this chapter because medically, I forgot the guy's name he talked to. He literally proved that medically he was dead before, because and one of the main proofs of that was he was bleeding water and blood, but the water was before the blood, and that means that he was dead before, because when you get stabbed it would be blood, but there was that pocket of water around his heart that he had already died. Basically, that's really all about chapter 11, is that it was just proven that he was dead and that he had to be resurrected to come back to life, which was stated that he did come back to life and seen by 500 people, but we've already went over that. Basically, in chapter 12, it talks about basically hold on, let me find it. Sorry, 1 second. It was basically about was Jesus really buried in the tomb, or was his body just stolen or taken, or was his body in there and people lied about it, just the missing evidence of his body. And basically I'm sorry, I'm recording. And basically it goes into detail. Hold on 1 second, I'm recording video. It goes into detail about how a woman supposedly saw him, or were the ones that saw the empty tomb, and people back then didn't really have that much, women weren't really important in society back then, so everyone was just oh, whatever, don't believe them. And basically everything that was said about him being not in the tomb was all different stories, but basically it was all coming to one conclusion, that his body wasn't there after the third day, or on the third day. So basically it was all these different stories, which it honestly proves that if they were all the same stories from all these different people, that he wasn't in the tomb, then it would be pretty weird. Then it would be oh, they're probably all lying, because why do they all have the same story? Because that's not how word of mouth goes. So basically all the people that said or saw that the tomb was empty all had different ways of saying how they found it like that, but it's all the same conclusion, that it was empty. So that both these chapters basically debunk that he died and wasn't resurrected, which he did die and did come back to life, because people did see the tomb empty, and nobody could have stolen his body necessarily, because there was guards, and if there wasn't guards, that stone was so heavy that people had to be there in a huge group to move the stone. But I just think the whole story is kind of crazy, that there's all these different, I guess, ways, or not lies, because we don't know if they're lies or not, but just all these different things that people were just trying to say that did or didn't happen, but the evidence is all right there with the story. And personally, like, after reading both of these chapters, I believe that he died before the tomb and he was resurrected.